Here we have the current stock market update for Super Micro Computer Incorporated, stock ticker SMCI. Before we begin, if you find these educational materials to be helpful in your trading, please remember to click the like and subscribe buttons and leave your thoughts in the comments below so that other traders will be able to find this information more easily on the platform. So as we can see here, the share price in SMCI is really collapsing. This is something that I pointed to in a previous video. I did suggest that Super Microcomputer was really in a vulnerable position here. It was really becoming quite obvious on the chart itself. If you'd like a an explanation of what was being discussed previously, I suggest that people check out the other videos on the Super Microcomputer playlist because there is a more extensive explanation of why this was likely to occur. And I do have another video that's going to be coming out on Super Microcomputer either tomorrow or the next day. I suggest that people look back for that because there's some important news, some important developments at this company that definitely need to be discussed. The only problem today is that this is Nvidia day. I mean, this is basically the Super Bowl of earnings today. So we do need to focus more on Nvidia because that's more of a near-term event risk. Nvidia will be reporting its Q2 earnings at the end of trading today. So after the market closes today, we will get those numbers. Expectations are currently quite elevated, but of course it's Nvidia. If anybody can beat the numbers, it would be Nvidia. So that is going to be where the focus is for at least the remainder of today. And as we can see here, some of the positioning that's going on in the technology space currently is not treating Super Microcomputer very well. I just did a video on Palantir. I also suggest that people look at that because as we can see with that stock, share prices are heading lower. We're starting to see some sort of pre-earnings positioning going on, and it's not surprising at all to see some movement to the downside. We are seeing it in Palantir as well, but it is not as drastic as what we are currently seeing with Super Microcomputer. So I can sort of drill on this price chart a bit. It becomes a little bit difficult to see because the price movements to the downside are so drastic. And the trading volumes for this stock have started to spike in the upward direction. So there is some obvious selling pressure that's going on here. And this stock is sort of flailing a bit. It's in a bit of trouble at the moment, definitely. That might be a bit of an understatement. So as things currently stand, we're seeing near-term lows coming in at 405.74. And, we have to remember here, there's also a major event risk that's coming at the end of the day today. So, the possibility for volatility here is fairly extreme. There's a lot going on, especially with this stock. I mean, you could say that's true for the entire market, but it's even more true here for Super Microcomputer, given the current situation and the current plunge that we're seeing in this share price. So, as I said in the prior video, this main level of resistance that I'm watching, I really haven't changed any of the trend lines here on this chart relative to the prior video. But as we can see here, this resistance area that I was watching came in right around 625, 630. We were starting to see prices flatline there. This is the daily chart. So what we're looking at here, this yellow line is the 20-day exponential moving average. And it's very clear here that share prices were having a lot of difficulty right there. Even though we did manage to break above this 23.6% fib level, this 20-period EMA, was resting a relatively short distance above, and it's very clear in this price chart that this was the line of resistance. This was the major obstacle for this stock. And then when you compare, when you combine that with some of the fundamental news that's going on in this company, and I will be discussing that further either tomorrow or the next day, because there are some things that will need to be addressed for the stock specifically. When you combine all of these things together, this was sort of a recipe for disaster with this stock. And as we can see here, share prices are moving as expected in the downward direction. For the most part, the main issue here is the fact that we have now broken through near-term support levels, which came in. Let me get an exact number here. 478, 478.56. I do have this marked here. So as we can see here, we have broken well below these prior lows of 478.76. So this is a very clear downward break in the bearish direction. And we will need to see where prices close here. The best case scenario at the moment would be that we get some great numbers out of Nvidia, and that does sort of It's sort of the rising tide that lifts all boats type of thing. And maybe we could see some benefit to this stock at that point, but we're going to need to see a very strong number here to turn things around. Um, all of that said, I will also be looking soon, relatively soon, for areas to start buying this stock. But we do have to let some of this near-term dust settle at the moment because there's just way too much going on right now. Just to start buying the stock at current levels. Let me underline that part. I do not recommend buying the stock right now. Um, you know, uh, Obviously, if you're adventurous and you want to take risks with your money, you're obviously free to do that. But what I'm saying is, I would not be trying to pick the bottom here for this stock, at least not right now. There's too much going on. Will there be some value in this stock here near term going forward? Yes, possibly. But we do need to start to see some evidence of support that's forming or a base that's forming in these share prices before we can really reasonably expect to start buying in. As things currently stand on the indicator reading, we can see that there is still a huge amount of negative momentum that is being directed at this stock. Currently, we can go all the way back to, really those prior price highs, those all-time highs at 1229, but it actually really started even before there, before we reached that point. These highs at 1078 are really what created this negative momentum condition. Uh, and given the fact that this did extend before those initial all-time highs, there was a divergence condition, and a lot of this really shouldn't have been surprising for people that are now underwater in this trade. So currently, what I can point to as a bit of a positive here would be the fact that you're seeing share prices move into oversold territory. Somewhat deeply. We're below 25 in the relative strength index. And then in addition to that, we currently have a bit of a bullish divergence type of condition. It's a little bit early to sort of make that claim because we sort of need to see a somewhat of a bottom here in share prices before we can really sort of make that claim. But what we're seeing here is that the stock price itself is making a lower low relative to this 478.56 low. And then at the same time, the indicator reading is not showing, is not confirming that price move. You're seeing higher lows in the relative strength index. So there is a bit of a bullish divergence here that is starting to build. But I am not recommending that people buy this stock just yet. You're going to need to wait in order for some of these event risks to pass first. So here's the current market update for Super Microcomputer Incorporated, stock ticker SMCI. Our High Value Trading Strategies membership is currently available for a limited time for only $9.99 per month. These high conviction investment strategies are characterized by superior risk to reward metrics that target massive market beating returns over time. Join now to outperform the market. Lock in this special introductory rate of just $9.99 per month for the entire lifetime of your membership and start trading stocks with the pros.